Welcome back, it's me again. This time not an opus maximus, not a 7-part series about a build. This is about something really basic. This is about tools. Now I'm sure we've all known some tools in our lives, and I've certainly known my fair share, but there are 10 tools I think that I really couldn't do without. So I want to share with you my top 10 tools. So first off, the absolute classic, the hand plane. Now, hand planes are just fundamental. I have a whole variety of them. This is a number 5, this is a number 4, this is a scraper plane, then I've got a block plane, which is brilliant because it goes right the way up to the edges. There's no need to spend an absolute fortune on planes. I have done, but the one I use the most I've spent the less money on. Of course, I bought it off of eBay. It was just a few quid. I think an absolute standard. It's a record number 4 plane. The number 4 plane is just a really good size. It's really easy to handle, and it's probably the plane that everybody needs and will be using the most. Chisels. You can't compromise on chisels. You can get cheap chisels, you're going to regret it. Save up, buy yourself one good chisel, something maybe a 1/2 inch or something like that. These two will get you a long way, but a complete set of great chisels will last you quite literally a lifetime. The accuracy and the quality of your chisels is absolutely paramount. Get yourself a good set of chisels, made for life. Here's another absolute essential, a straight edge. Now a straight edge, a proper engineering straight edge, will keep you on track. I mean, there are literally thousands of uses of these. This one's a Stuart McDonald, it's a short one obviously, it's a good length, and they're not that expensive. Although they are in the UK because of the shipping. This one I think I bought online. It's a good one, I've checked it, it is absolutely spot on. It's a bit bigger, a bit heavier, straight edge, absolutely essential. Clamps. You're going to need a lot of clamps. This is a cam clamp. This is pretty much the luthier and violin maker's go-to clamp. You clamp it and then the cam pulls it shut. These things are unique because what they do is they apply pressure only at the tip and it's even. That means that it doesn't go squidging whatever you're trying to glue all over the place. These things, your quick clamp, are amazing. They are so easy to use. You can usually use them one-handed if they're oiled properly. There you go. You can use these to clamp almost anything. Absolutely essential, and contrary to public opinion, you cannot have too many clamps. Rasps and files. I have a bit of a collection here. This is a standard Narex rasp, a proper rasp, and it's extremely sharp. It's got some very nice, nasty large teeth on there. Great for neck shaping, but funnily enough, not my go-to. You'll need a decent set of files for hardware, for taking bits off bridges and things like that, things that don't fit, which is very common. So you'll need a decent set of good quality files. Don't go nuts. This is another rasp, just a little bit more exotic. Extremely sharp, takes a lot off, but a little bit more accurately, and that curve shape is really useful for getting around headstocks and things like that. Lovely file, rasp. And finally, my favourite tool, and probably the cheapest. These are microplanes. Now I keep telling people how good these are. These little cuts, these little pushed through tin bits, they act like thousands of little planes, and they're extremely easy to control, and they have one huge advantage. Your standard rasp will tear up the grain on the wood, it'll tear up the fibres of the wood, and you really have to do a lot of cleanup after that. This, because it's basically a collection of microscopic planes, it leaves a really quite smooth and clean surface, and it doesn't distress the wood in the same way. They also do round ones as well. These round ones are amazing, so they're great for getting in and around necks. I can't recommend these highly enough, and they're cheap. I think these things are absolutely brilliant. I don't know what I'd do without it. You can get them in the UK from a European supplier there. You know, you just search for a pattern maker's vice and you'll find it. I think they're called something slightly different in America, but you can certainly get them from STUMAC. The only difference is they're red, and instead of a crank, they've got like a wheel handle. Does exactly the same thing, same size, probably by the same people, who knows. But if you possibly can, get one of these, and if you can't afford it, save up, because it will change your life. Oscillating sander, really, really useful. It's got replaceable spindles of different sizes. You can use it for plastic, for pick guards, you can use it for bodies. They're really, really good. This one was the cheapest one I could find, and I've never wanted for anything better. Oscillating sander. Belt sander, absolutely brilliant piece of kit. I mean, there's so many uses for it. This one actually goes upright, so you can do like headstock ends and things like that. You could even sharpen a chisel on it if you're really, really stuck. Not your good chisels, of course, but a fantastic thing. Disc sander built into it. You can stick headstocks on it to get them flat. I've even done scarf joints where I've done the basic leveling just to get it, you know, halfway there. These things, fantastic, get one. This one is not strictly a tool. This is sandpaper. It's 3M STIKIT Gold. This stuff I stick to all of my radius blocks. I stick it to wooden blocks. I stick it to bottles and cans. It's absolutely brilliant. It's the best sandpaper I've ever used. So I'm prepared to pay a fortune for this stuff and get it imported because, quite frankly, I can't live without this stuff. It's brilliant. 3M STIKIT Gold sandpaper, self-adhesive sandpaper, and it really does stick. If you're doing guitar making, you're going to need a router, and for my money, this is the best one you can get. It's so versatile. It's not the most powerful router in the world. It's not the most expensive either, but it's the one that I use constantly. It's extremely good value, and you can do pretty much anything you need to do in guitar making with this, bar the really heavy lifting. And if I was to buy one router, this would be it. This exercise device is extremely useful. It's actually a pillar drill style attachment for a standard electric drill. I use this to drill the string holes through the bodies of Telecasters and things like that, and through string body type guitars. It's absolutely brilliant because it allows you to get on top of the guitar and go straight through. I can't get a guitar body underneath my pillar drill because it's rubbish. So this thing is an absolute godsend, and it keeps you fit. You're going to need some electric drills. You can use them as electric screwdrivers. You can also use them as an electric drill. So I have a powerful one which is better for drilling, and I have a slightly less powerful one which is great for being a screwdriver and a bit of light drilling as well. So these things are absolutely essential. Now, don't spend a fortune on these, spend a decent amount of money. I bought both of these from Lidl, which is a low-cost sort of supermarket in the UK. I saw them, had a quick feel of them, thought they were good quality, and I've actually used these two for about 4 or 5 years. They cost very little, and I'm not a great advocate of going out and spending 200 or 300 quid on a DeVault or something like that. It's too much. I'm not a builder, I'm a guitar maker, and these things have enough power, enough torque for my everyday work and my guitar making. So fantastic. I think I've lost count of the number of soldering irons I've gone through in my time. I don't seem to have the right tool for the right job at any one time, and so I think I've bought about 5 of them, and they've all ended up in the rubbish bin down there. This one is the exception. It's one I've just bought. It's got a nice variable temperature on it, and it's got a nice light soldering tip which is, you know, connected to the base. If you can afford it, get one of these. It will pay off in the long term. I love it. This is a 1-ton arbor press. I've adapted it so it's now a fret press. Now, it's not difficult to adapt these things. I think I spent about 50 bucks on this. I've drilled a hole up through the middle here so that it will take the fret press die here. It wasn't difficult. I actually used a hand drill with a 10mm high-speed metal drill in it. I then drilled another hole through here, which has now taken an M8 screw, which I just put a thread on with a threading kit. Extremely easy to do, but when you consider these things can cost several hundred if you buy them from people like StewMac, just going down the road, drilling 2 holes and threading one of them, and you've got yourself a fret press. If you're doing any amount of fretting, you want one of these. They're just brilliant. It looks like a sanding block. It sort of is, but it sort of isn't. It's actually a radiusing block. If you can possibly afford it, these are wooden, get yourself a long metal one. Now, obviously, these are expensive, but I use a 10-inch radius on my guitars quite a lot. I also use a 16-inch radius on guitars quite a lot. So I've got an aluminium 10 and an aluminium 16. These things from Guitars and Woods are absolutely brilliant. You can get them in America from StewMac. Get yourself these if you possibly can. If not, get yourself some of these. Finally, for my fret box of delights, I've got my 3 nut slot files. These are made by Hosco in Japan, and they are the best you can get. They've got 2 different slot widths on each file, one on each side. They're about 80 bucks a set, maybe more, but I don't think you can do without them. There are cheap ones apparently available on AliExpress. I've not tried them, so I can't tell you if they're any good, but these I know are the best, and I think you buy these once and that's it. So there you have it, my list of top 10 tools. Of course, in the UK we have one top tool, and that's Boris Johnson. But fortunately, he's not in power for much longer, but we will be getting a brand new tool very shortly. Until I see you again, be safe, be careful, and keep building. Oh, and subscribe, please.